Okay, so the first one is a factorising, and the key thing here is that don't get lulled into the thinking that it would be factorising into a single bracket just because you've only got two terms. We are quite a way through the paper now, and if you look carefully at your terms, 4 is a square number, x squared is a squared term, and 9 is also a square number. So therefore what we're looking at here is the difference of two squares. So when I put that into my double brackets, what I've always got to do is effectively look for the square root of these numbers to find out what goes in there. So the square root of 4 is 2, the square root of x is x, so I have to have 2x in the start of both my double brackets. The reason I have no middle terms here is because one has to be a plus and one has to be a minus. And then to get my 9, the square root of 9 we know is 3, so therefore that's what goes into the back end of my brackets. Check very quickly that it does expand back to give you what you want. So 2x times 2x gives you the 4x squared that you want. That's good. You then get 3 times by 2x, which gives you 6x, which you don't want. But then you also get, from doing the 2x times by the minus 3, minus 6x. So they cancel out. And then the final multiplication to do is the 3 times by the minus 3, which gives you the minus 9 that you want. So do, if you have time, check that your factorisation works. Now part B is a tricky rearranging an equation, rearranging a formula to make m the subject. Now the reason it's tricky is because you have m in two different places in your formula and you can't bring them together because one of them has a letter in front of it, so you are going to have to use a factorising. So the fact that it follows on from a factorising question gives you a little hint as to the method that you need to use. Now there are various different ways of rearranging this, but I want to make m the subject, so I want to keep my m's positive if possible. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and move my m's onto the right hand side and everything else onto the left hand side to start off with. So to be able to do that, I need to move the minus 3m over, and so I need to plus 3m. And just like if you're solving an equation, you do that to both sides. So the minus 3m plus 3m cancels out, just leaving me with g. And on this side, I've got the am, I've got the plus 5, and now I've also got plus 3m. So I've got my m's onto that right-hand side, but I've got this 5 that I don't want there at the moment. So I want to get rid of that, so I'm going to minus 5 from both sides. So on the left-hand side, g minus 5. On the right hand side, the am's still going to be there, the plus 5 and the minus 5 cancel each other out, and then the 3m is still there. So the key to then moving any further forwards than that is to factorise my right hand side. So the left hand side isn't going to change, but what I can spot with these two terms here is that m is common to both. So the m can come outside my bracket, and the a plus 3 then needs to stay inside a bracket, and if you were to multiply that out, you'd get the am, you'd get the 3m, so it gives you the same thing. What I've got in here in my algebra is a missing multiplication sign in here, so to get rid of the a plus 3 to leave the m on its own, which is what we were trying to do, I need to divide by a plus 3. And again, I do that to both sides. So it's then going to appear on the on the left-hand side and disappear off the right-hand side. And when you write divide in algebra, you write it as a fraction line. So you've got the g minus 5 divided by, with the fraction line, a plus 3. These bits cancel, and so it just leaves you with m. What you should really then do on your answer line, or just below here, is to write it with the m on the left-hand side, so that you're clear that that's the subject of your formula.